Okay, it looks like we're on, or we're getting on. Excellent. Confirm that we're definitely connecting. We are connecting. It went a little bit faster tonight, which I always love. Speed, action, tremendous. Now people are getting on. Okay, I'm going to try to do something different with the comments tonight, because I know people are tired of the clicking, but guess what? The clicking still happens. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. How are you? I see New Smyrna up the road, Ohio. I saw Australia. Fantastic. I'll work on the clicking and see if I can get rid of it for you, okay? YouTube yells at me too. The clicking, I get it. The clicking ain't going away. I don't know why it's not going away. It's the comments rolling in, okay? I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, good, but it's still there. So whatever. Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about Atlanta. Yes, I'm going to talk about Atlanta. Absolutely. No worries doing that, okay? From New York, Kansas City, Chicago, Texas, West Virginia, Alabama. Hello, everybody. I know. I don't mind the clicking. I was just trying to help a couple people. The clicking is just all you wonderful people writing comments to us and telling me where you are, South Carolina and Texas. So it's a good thing. Kansas City, Missouri. I was there once. The food was delicious. Central Texas, Minnesota, Georgia. We'll chat a little bit about Georgia. Why do I come on so late at night? Because I have a world and a family and life, and so I have a full-time job besides this. Someday this might become my full-time job, but right now it is not my full-time job. It's my other full-time job. So Phoenix, Arizona. Click, click, click. Vegas and Arizona. Let's see. The two dead. Michigan, Buffalo, Texas, Nebraska. Hello, everybody. All right. I got to tell you why we're going to go separate ways. Not me and you, obviously. We're not going separate directions. I'm talking about the world and America and the chaos that is going on. So, the first thing I want to do for you is I want to show you. Is Trump coming on? Oh, yeah, Trump's coming on Hannity tonight. Let me tell you. But we didn't know about that till literally about an hour ago. He hadn't tweeted all day. And then he decided to say, oh, Q dropped, of course, which we hadn't had a Q drop in a little bit. So Q dropped. I don't think Q. Yeah, Q. Oh, yeah. So the latest thing was Hannity on at 9 o'clock. The first thing I'm going to show you is a Q drop. So Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. And let's go to the video tape, shall we? Some of you probably already saw this, but it is genius. It is brilliant. Let's roll, as Brooks says. I love it. Here we go.
When Donald Trump wants a wall around our southern border, it's considered racist. But domestic terrorists who take over a 6x6 block in Washington is considered patriotic. Joe Biden is allowed to blackmail the president of Ukraine, but when Donald Trump asks about it, that's an impeachable offense. A $5 billion border wall is apparently too expensive, but a $1.5 trillion free healthcare system is apparently achievable. People who never owned slaves have to pay reparations to people who never were slaves. I'm not allowed to cheat to get into college because I'll go to jail, but if I cheat to get into this country, I get free everything. People who never went to college have to pay for kids who made stupid choices and decided to go to college. We're catching and releasing criminals because apparently it's an infringement on their right. I'm not allowed to purchase a firearm, but you're totally allowed to go purchase drugs, alcohol, and get an abortion. Irish and German scientists and engineers have to go through a very serious vetting process before being admitted into the United States, but immigrants from our southern border get to come in whenever they want. When Donald Trump...
So, she dropped that. And you know what? I think every day at this point, we are getting dropped major Twitter bombs from, and I don't know that she's an anon necessarily, but just being smart. The right people are waking up. And I foresee. Now, I'm also going to show you something completely insane as it comes to finance. And I realize I hadn't told you a lot about finance stuff in a while. So now I'm going to talk to you tonight about this as well as global finance. And it seems as though my rants are coming in the beginning now instead of at the end, but it happens, okay? So, guess what, folks? We're going to be coming to a fork in the road in America. And the reason I say this is you're either going to be wide awake and you're smartening up, or you're going to be very much asleep and stupid and go a different direction. And yes, I'm sorry, but at some point, you either have to wake up or you have to stay ignorant, stupid, and asleep. And that's what is going to happen. Do you know why I say that? Because we have people like her who are waking up, understanding what's going on. It's filtering out to the people. And then yet we have the stupid decisions of taking Aunt Jemima off a syrup bottle. Now, keep in mind, I am not a syrup fan. I'm in natural health. It's loaded with sugar, corn syrup. It's not even maple syrup. Like, trust me, I am from upstate New York. I'm actually from a little town called Marathon, New York. That's where I last lived. And we actually had a maple syrup festival every single year in the winter because there was so much maple syrup because of the trees. And let me tell you, if you want to know what maple syrup is, I'll show you what maple syrup is. Real maple syrup. So Aunt Jemima is not real maple syrup. So I don't really care that it goes away. However, I never personally looked at an Aunt Jemima bottle and thought racism. You know what I actually thought? Maybe I'm wrong, but you can tell me. Is I saw a very happy black woman who probably could cook like nobody's business. And you probably want to eat her food because it probably tastes delicious. That's what I would assume, right? And just like Uncle Ben's rice, I didn't think of Uncle Ben as slave owned. I thought of Uncle Ben as probably a really great cook who knew how to do a lot of things with rice. You have to want to see racism. You have to actually. This is my issue with this. If you look at these things and you think racism, you know what that means? You have racism in your heart. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. Like, for example, the Washington Redskins, the football team. Now, I am not going to give the NFL any money. However, I have Native American in my lineage. I have never seen the Washington Redskins logo as racist, hate-filled, anti-Indian, anything like that. You know why? Because I don't have racism in me. So when we have people who are calling this stuff out and saying it's racist, you know what the real problem is? It isn't racist. The real problem is the person calling it out, you have racism in you. If you are calling out racism all the time, I actually start questioning you. Because you know what that's called? That's called projection. You are looking for any little thing because you are offended by everything in life. Exactly. I honestly, I go throughout the day and I can't even think of a time in my entire life where I thought, oh, well, that's racist. Probably because I don't put myself around racist people. So I don't even know if I'd ever see it because, quite honestly, guess what? Racist people are typically assholes. And I tend not to hang around those people. So I probably won't find racist people because racist people are big yellow lights blaring. Like, they're complete idiots. They're jerks. And I don't hang around jerks. So if you are calling on racism today and you are pointing out things that you believe are racist, I need to start questioning you and why you see that everywhere. Because if you see that everywhere, I'm a little worried about what's coming from your eyes and your pineal gland. Because that's how pictures work, right? We see things because there's a reflection up here. So, if you are calling out racism, I actually start to feel sorry for you, and I will probably distance myself from you because you're starting to concern me, and I don't want to be around someone who thinks like that. That simple. We need to change. This is why we're going to go in separate directions. We're going to have the patriots, and we're going to have the people who are looking at the world filled with hate, filled with anger, and they're victims. The people you see out in the streets right now doing stupid stuff, that is called victims. Well, guess what? I don't play the victim game. If I make a mistake in life, you know what I do? I go, okay, what did I do? I screwed up. Okay, how did I screw up? Why did I screw up? That's not something I try to do. Okay, how can I take responsibility for this? If I don't have money, I find out why I don't have money. Okay, it's my responsibility. Clearly, I'm not trained in something. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I need to figure out why I'm not. If I make a mistake, my wife gets mad at me. I have to go, okay, you know what? Why did someone get mad at me? Did I make a mistake? And then own up to it. That's simple. It's really simple. Even if you're outside, I learned from a mentor a long time ago. If you're outside and you get into a car accident, right? You can play the victim. You can say, oh my gosh, someone hit me. It's horrible. Poor me. Or you can say, why was I in that situation in the first place? Why did I put myself in that situation? We are coming to a fork in the road. Some are going to go left. Some are going to go right. You're on the correct side. Because if this stuff is insane to you, it's not because you're going insane. It's because it's insane. It's called being a victim, right? We are not going to go down the road of we need to take this off a logo. We need to take this color out. And we're certainly not going to go down the road where we wear scarves around our neck from another country. And we try to, and then of all things, Nancy Pelosi and her minions, they give the George Floyd family a folded military ready, veteran ready flag that you would only give to a family who had a deceased veteran or a deceased person in the service. That is the ultimate shame. Like she has no right to do that. We are coming to the fork in the road. You're either going to be on the right side of history, or you may not stay around this planet, because if you can't get on board with what is true in life and honest and responsible in life, the Chaz or now Chop apparently of the world, you will not survive. Because guess what? Life doesn't work like you think it works. Now, hey, I'm more than happy. We can build some more gardens. I can get on board with you on that. Why don't we make some community gardens in cities so people start to take care of themselves better? They start to understand how they can really live. Totally on board with that. But there's rules. There's order. You don't get to go around and shoot people in the head. You don't get to go around and punch people in the face. I have watched so many videos on Twitter in the last week that I won't even show you. I'm sure you've probably seen some as well. The reason I won't show you is not because I don't think you can handle it. It's because I just don't need to spread that kind of negativity. I do not want to show you people getting essentially killed on camera between fists and guns and knives and everything else. It's insane. That is not our America. We're not going to continue to put up with this. So at some point, again, there's two different directions to go. And I will not be involved with quote unquote that America. Just not going to happen. Right? I have too much production to do. I have too many people to help. I have too good of a family to take care of, to spend time. I do not want my next 40, 50, 60 years on this planet to be caught up in strife and fighting and battling back and forth, when we can live in peace and harmony and working on productive things that make our planet better. That's what this is about. And now we have a darkness, cabal, globalist, deep state, whatever you want to call it, that is trying to put this on us. And it's unacceptable. Now, I want to take you into the next piece, which plays into this, okay? From a finance standpoint, The International Monetary Fund is starting to talk about a great reset. A great reset. Now, this is not what I understand the reset as, okay? But remember I talked maybe a month back with Sam from the crypto world, and he talked about having two different systems working at the same time. I believe we're also coming to a financial fork in the road. Now, I need you to get ready and listen to this very, very carefully. This is very important when it comes to your financial livelihood over the next 6 months to a year or 2 years. Listen closely. I've been talking about this, but I'm reading more and more. All right. Now, I've talked to some people. I've cross-checked a couple things, and it sounds like this is what could happen. Okay. Number one, the stock market is going to skyrocket. Okay. It's going to skyrocket. I have a friend who says he thinks it could go up as much as 50,000 points by election or by the end of the year. Probably election. We've never seen that kind of number. Now, that's percentage that could happen, okay? However, they are setting us up for COVID 2.0. So you are going to see a massive skyrocket in economic value coming. You're going to see it. This is what President Trump talks about, a hot summer. You're going to see an economy that is through the roof going into probably Christmas time. Now, that has to be propped up to get him elected. The U.S. economy is not actually as strong as they're saying it is, but that is the only way he gets elected. Wall Street is not the economy, just so you guys know. Like, I don't have money in Wall Street, in the stock market, other than some insurance plans that, I showed where to go and I kept it in ethical stuff. But like 401k, nope. All this different stuff that's in the stock market, I don't have stocks and all that. One, because I didn't believe. I can't find any stock or anything ethical enough to put my money into it. And I don't like playing the stock market, which I consider like Las Vegas. I don't gamble. I will tell you, I travel to Vegas typically on business at least probably 2 to 5 times a year, depending. And I have one little routine that I do that my wife knows I do. I literally take somewhere between $20 and maybe $50 out for, like, if I'm there for a weekend, I take $20 or $50 out. That's it. And I will play some machines or anything that looks fascinating to me just to have some fun. And then I'm done. That's it. I have no desire to blow money. I have no desire to put money into something. I had one time at Vegas where I put $20 in and my machine got hot and it went up to $600. And I realized, oh my gosh, if it's $600, this is a huge win. And then all of a sudden I could feel the machine go cold. And I started losing and it went down to about $450. And I realized it was going to lose all the way. And I cashed out at $450. Okay, so I could see the writing on the wall. I don't like to lose money. So I could have kept playing going, oh, I can go higher and higher and higher. That's the stock market. It's gambling. That's what it is. Like, so I'll gamble $20 here or there. No problem. See if something hits. But I'm not going to put thousands upon hundreds of thousands. I'm not going to put my future into a lottery. Just not going to happen. So I'm going to show you an article here. I'm going to show you a couple different things because I believe the globalists are trying to put their system together for a global currency that I think we're going to hopefully not be a part of. And I think this is what he was talking about, the different tracks. You're going to have the globalist track, which is central banks. Then you're going to have the decentralized open source game, which is some money, some crypto, some blockchain, etc. And they're going to be running different. And this one, as Sam said, will probably trickle out over a period of time. And hopefully the Patriots, us, can build our real economy. So I want to go to this because this all has just recently happened, okay? I wanted to show you this one article actually a week ago, but I ran into some other news I had to show you and this just didn't pop up. So this is actually the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, and this was at the World Economic Forum from June 3rd, 2020. Here you go. Okay, so this right here, Kristalina Georgieva, I believe is her name. She talks about the Great Reset. All right, now is the time to think of what history would say about this crisis, and now is the time for all of us to define our own role. Okay, so what would it take for historians to look back at this crisis as the moment of a great reset? Okay, from the perspective of the International Monetary Fund, we have seen a massive injection of fiscal stimulus to help countries deal with this crisis and to shift gears for growth to return. It is of paramount importance that this growth should lead to a greener, smarter, fairer world in the future. Okay? Good. So you can go through this. Now, I'm going to go to the next one. This is the World Economic Forum. All right? They have their own website. All right? So as you scroll down, you find out more about the Great Reset right here. Okay? Make sense? Now, when you click on that, and you can go down, you can see all the different stuff they have. This is all globalist people, okay? This is all globalism. Now, if you click on this right here, the read more, it actually takes you to this. The Great Reset, a unique twin summit to begin 2021. Okay? This is the globalists. The Great Reset will be the theme of a unique twin summit in January 2021 convened by the World Economic Forum. The Great Reset is a commitment to jointly and urgently build the foundation of our economic and social system for a more fair, sustainable, and resilient future. It requires a social contract centered on human dignity. Okay? Goes to the speakers. This was the June 3rd thing, okay? This talks about COVID, talks about the Great Reset. Now, the globalists were there. So you'll see all of the actual banks, all right, were there. This is actually a map of the World Economic Global Shapers, okay? Now, if I click on deeper stuff, I get the map here. Now, I did not sign up for this, okay? Like, you see how it says log in, sign up? I did not do that because I don't want them having my information. All right. There's a Great Reset in the middle. It talks about shaping economic recovery, harnessing the fourth industrial revolution, revitalizing global cooperation, restoring the health of the environment. All right. Now I can go up to 5G. 5G. Some of you may have seen this, but I'm actually taking you through the map itself, okay? Not everyone does the map itself. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. 5G value creation, the regulatory environment, the spectrum and network needs, security, critical infrastructure, the business model. If I go over to the United States, what do they have us doing? Let's see. Transparency, trade openness, healthcare. This all goes to gender parity. Corporate governance. So there's different things to this, all right? And it's interesting to say the least. If I go back here to the 5G, there's other things you can go through. I did not go through all of these. COVID-19 pops up. I don't even know what this one says. I haven't looked at it. Whatever that is. Oh, they want you to register for that. But we have response and recovery, etc. Okay. This is a messy map, and I do not fully know yet everything they want to do with this. All right, so I'm only showing this so you can see exactly what they're trying to do, or at least what their schematic is. Okay, and it goes all the way around. There's some blockchain in here. There's for systemic racism, LGBTI inclusion. I don't even know what does systemic racism look like. I didn't click on that one. Economic opportunity, access to justice and mass incarceration, defining racism. let me click on all this. Role of religion, workforce employment, migration, and it focuses on the United States because we're supposedly the worst ones at it, right? So this is the mess that they are trying to set up. All right. Now, I do not know how it looks like for us in this because we have separated from the World Health Organization. We've disconnected, okay? We are also, he's now threatening the World Trade Organization and the United Nations. He's been threatening them for a while. That is a non-globalist situation then, okay? Because he has said we are not going to stick with globalism. So, we are coming to the fork in the road in finance. Judy Shelton is still going through the process. They shut down the hearings for the Federal Reserve Board with her because of everything going on. We'll see when that gets back. But again, she's a gold person. I just want to show you this because we are going to get to the point where we have to break off as a country from everywhere else. We're going to have to break off if we want to continue our great nation what it should have been, okay? Now, I'm going to show you one other thing real quick because I think this might have an interesting effect of what you're seeing now, and the person who said it seems to be a pretty smart man. So let's go show you the very smart individual who told us exactly what we're supposed to do. You ready? Here we go. Mr. Thomas Jefferson, words of wisdom. When we get piled upon one another in large cities as in Europe, we shall become as corrupt as Europe. The democracy, now it's interesting he used the word democracy, so I have to actually go up and look up why he put that and why he said democracy, because I'm assuming he's looking at democracy very different than we are. The democracy will cease to exist when you take away from those who are willing to work and give to those who would not. It is incumbent on every generation to pay its own debts as it goes, a principle which, if acted on, would save one half the wars of the world. I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. My reading of history convinces me that the most bad government results from too much government. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is, as a last resort, to protect themselves against tyranny in government. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. How about that line? To compel a man to subsidize with his taxes the propagation of ideas which he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. And that, folks, is why I am such a gigantic fan of Thomas Jefferson. So my favorite founding fathers, technically, are Thomas Jefferson, and the other one is not technically a founding father, but I look at him as a founding father, and that is Patrick Henry. Now, I do love the Benjamin Franklin's of the world and the Washingtons of the world, but I know, and Alexander Hamilton, by the way, Hamilton was one of the guys that actually sold us out to the central bank. One of the first times he sold us out to the central bank. Now, President Trump loves Thomas Jefferson. Loves him. So, these are reasons why I keep hope alive, okay? Now, I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to show you guys something totally freaking awesome at the end of this that you probably have never seen before, and I don't even know. I will tell you, nobody's sharing it on social media, okay? And it's regarding COVID and healthcare, okay? So I'm going to show you that in a minute. I want to bring you to local news second, okay? My next part is local news. And by the way, if you didn't know how good Florida is, look at our news, okay? Now, first of all, if you didn't see yesterday, and I keep forgetting his name, the Polk County Sheriff, the one that said he wanted his residents to have guns and blow back the Antifa members if they came to their house. He was on again yesterday, and they took down pedophiles associated with Disney. So I need all of you guys do the best as you possibly can with removing and disconnecting yourselves from the Disney brand. Now, keep in mind, Disney owns ABC, owns ESPN, owns a lot of different stuff. Disney is a disgusting, satanic cesspool of junk. And my job is to not ever give them any more money. Okay? But yes, yesterday, the Polk County Sheriff, they helped take down, I think, 17 plus pedophiles, and a couple were Disney employees. And they continue to take down more, he said. They actually have more they're working on. Okay? Where is the safest from hurricanes? There is no safe place in Florida from hurricanes. It's just one of the things you get. Like, keep in mind, it's also hot as hell. So I talked to someone today, and they asked what it was like, and I said, they said, how warm is it down there? I said, well, right now, it's pretty toasty. Meaning I was walking on the sidewalk for like 5 minutes and I broke into a sweat because in summertime, we get about 90 to 100 degrees and then add on to that about 75+% humidity. So a typical summer day in Florida with humidity feels like about 110, 105, 110 sometimes. Okay. So you will stand outside in shorts and a t-shirt and you will sweat. Just so you know, like if you come down here and you don't have money for air conditioning, don't come down here because air conditioning is a requirement in the state of Florida. All right. Just so you know. But other than that, a couple hurricanes here and there. And by the way, with hurricanes, I'm not saying hurricanes are fun or nice and they don't do damage, but so many people in the country to ask us about hurricanes in Florida. The real problem is not the hurricane. The problem is the media down here blows it all out of proportion. They tell you 10 days before the thing even gets to Florida that they think it's going to hit in this place. And guess what? They don't know what's happening with storms. They have no clue what they're talking about. So don't be in fear of Florida just because hurricanes, because honestly, they don't hit as often as everyone claims that they do. Like the last one that came up and hit gave the coast a little bit of a problem, but it actually missed most of the state. So, but yet they said it was going to destroy the whole state. So that's what they do. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to this article, OAN, because I love my OAN network. Here we go. So a Publix supermarket. So Publix is a gigantic chain down here. One of the biggest supermarkets down here in Florida. It's a good chain. They're actually a very quality market in general. They have their standard market, and then they have a lot of organic stuff now. So they're doing better. So they ban employees from wearing Black Lives Matter gear at work. This is what we do in Florida. We don't do stupid stuff in Florida. Now, we have some stupid people sometimes who do stupid things. But, yeah, this is what we do. Now, it wasn't because he was black. It was actually because they did not want him getting hurt. All right? They did not want him getting hurt. According to the boy, district manager has since contacted him to explain the position. Okay, he doesn't know if they're pro or con on the issue. He says that I'm endangering myself and everyone who works there, stated Quinton. There is an employee that has a comic strip on his mask, so it seems like they just did like the message to portray. No, so it's not because it's not because they didn't want him wearing it. It's they didn't want him hurt, and they didn't want other store employees hurt. They knew that it would be a possible dangerous situation. So that's called intelligent managing. So that manager is probably an intelligent individual who knows what he's doing. Now, can I tell you something interesting about Florida? A lot of people, we got put on the map. Actually, the city of Sanford, Florida, which I will tell you is very close to where I am. It's I go to Sanford probably at least once a week, once every couple weeks. It's that close. the Trayvon Martin incident. All right. Now, did you know? Now, I will probably get attacked for saying this, but whatever. Did you know the Trayvon Martin situation was a complete psyop setup as well? So, raise your hands out there. Okay, raise your hands if you know that the Trayvon Martin situation was actually a psyop setup. Now you're going to say, what are you talking about? That's crazy. Well, guess what? Remember how the George Floyd problem is now a psyop and you're realizing that it was actually staged? Well, because George Floyd was a Freemason. Guess who else was a Freemason? Trayvon Martin's parents were Freemasons. And guess what the Trayvon Martin situation was? It was to start a race war in Florida. Most people don't fully know that. So yes, if you go look up Trayvon Martin, look up that his parents were Freemasons, and the whole damn thing was set up. Some people do not like when I say that, whatever. Yeah, Sandy Hook was every freaking thing you see in the media is a false flag at this point. They run psyops. You're talking about the deep state that runs the media, okay? So people don't realize, though, that this stuff happens like this, that they're doing this because it gets messy. They want messy. Like, it puts Sanford, Florida is like a sleepy little town. It is not big. Like, they made it seem like Sanford, Florida is this like big mecca of horribleness. Sanford, Florida is like a super sweet little town. I've eaten at restaurants in Sanford, Florida for years. They're wonderful people. It's quiet. It's conservative. It's nice. They have beautiful lakefront. There's a giant lake down here that's beautiful. It's wonderful. No, they just found out where they could start a race war. So that's what they did. So now keep in mind, this actually ties into Georgia tonight. So Atlanta, your police are walking off the street. They're quitting because they're tired of the bullshit. If you watch these videos on Twitter of people literally getting drug out of their vehicles, this is a complete designed psyop staged to create a major problem. Now, I'm telling you, the more I watch this, I actually have a feeling that the deep state actually turns on them. And I told you some Anons were already talking about that I have a feeling that it's going to look like the military possibly, or troops, or National Guard are attacking them because I believe they're going to shoot at everybody. Something along those lines. It doesn't have to be exactly shooting, but something along those lines, so that it looks like it starts a war between basically America and the Patriots and then the anarchists. And then that looks really bad for a president and the military. And then that could spur or trigger the president and our administration into martial law. That's where that could come from. Okay? So, some people say maybe that social media is cutting out tonight. I wouldn't be shocked. Good. Let's get back to the news, okay? Now here, President Trump has said that if COVID 2.0 kicks back up, we are not shutting the nation down. The economy continues to roll. So the funny part is I actually heard a patient in my wife's room this morning saying how worried they were that we might have some new cases of COVID and they're afraid to get together with people in groups and go to church. Like, churches need to be fully open. This is ridiculous. There is no reason to shut down anything at this point. Everything should be wide open. All right, so here we go. Governor DeSantis has said his state will continue reopening its economy. So Florida is not shutting down despite a reported quote-unquote uptick in new coronavirus cases. All right, so this is a video here. I actually saw an article earlier. I'm not going to play that because it's too long. I actually read an article earlier that was on DeSantis talking, saying that the reason why it's an uptick is because they're testing more. The test that there was a backup on tests. Okay, now keep in mind, I also want to tell you this: the COVID thing is complete BS. Do you know why they picked coronavirus? They picked coronavirus because you could test for coronavirus at any given time. It's the most simple thing because it's the common cold. So they picked coronavirus so that they could get you to test for it. So whether they test you in January or they test you in March or they test you in April, June, or July, August, or September, October, or November, December, if they test you any one of the 12 months, guess what? You could test for coronavirus. Why? Because you could have a random common cold at any given time. I mean, come on. Let's be honest with you. I've had moments where, I had a little runny nose. It went away in a day. No big deal. It could probably be a mutation of the coronavirus. Now, I have not had that lately. I'm just talking about years ago and things like that. You could so easily test for coronavirus because that's what the common cold is. They know this. They needed something that was very general so that no matter when they tested it, it could show up. So when the dead of summer or in the late summer, early fall, they could totally set you up with a coronavirus test and you could test for it because it's a mutation of the common cold. They put it in they put it in the vaccines. That's why Dr. Mikovits said, don't get your damn flu vaccines because you're going to test for COVID. This is how they get COVID 2.0. A combination of the most basic virus and everyone getting their stupid vaccines and their stupid flu vaccines as well. They're setting you up. My personal opinion, obviously not getting a vaccine. And I'm also not getting tested, nor am I getting any stupid antibody testing. Not happening. Okay? Yes, and there's false positives everywhere because the CDC admitted they screwed up. The CDC admitted they're tainted. And the damn Tanzanian or Tasmanian whatever president, genius that he is, got the COVID test and tested fruit on it. If fruit is testing positive and goats are testing positive for the coronavirus, you might have a problem with your tests. Okay? It's completely and utterly ridiculous. All right, now I'm going to show you a couple more things and then we're going to dive into the end of the night. The last thing I want to show you, which I find completely awesome. Okay, now this one is really cool. So here we go. The Uyghur. Okay, have you heard about these folks? Okay. The human rights for the Uyghur population in China. Now, John Bolton is saying that he wants to bust Donald Trump for saying that supposedly Donald Trump said that he didn't care that Uyghurs were being put into prison camps and he thought it was like funny or something like that. Yet today, President Trump actually signed, there we go. Actually signed a Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act. So let me blow this up a little bit. Today, this was a gigantic, huge, monumental thing. We would like to thank President Trump for signing the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act into law today, as well as Vice President Pence, Secretary of State Pompeo, Ambassador Brownback, and other senior administration officials for continuing to raise awareness about the plight of Uyghurs. It is a great day for American citizens as well as Uyghur and other Turkic people in China who have been subject to ghastly human rights abuses by the Communist Party of China. We would also like to acknowledge the representatives McGovern, Smith and Sherman, and Senators Rubio and Menendez for their years of leadership and hard work on this bill. So basically, it protects them. Okay? Because of the U.S. government's commitment to religious freedom, for the first time in years, we have a reason to hope for a better future for Muslims living in China. So at the end of the day, guess what? You are not allowed in this world anymore to have human rights abuses. All right? We do not believe, no matter if you agree with lifestyles, backgrounds, religions at all, you are not allowed to harm other humans. This is something we have to go forward as a population, okay? This is what we must do. Now, are you guys ready for something kind of cool? Now, this is not the coolest thing I'm going to show you tonight, but it's pretty cool, okay? Who likes crop circles? Raise your hand if you like crop circles, okay? Here we go. I like how everyone on here, sometimes the ones who don't like me, the trolls, I watch you, by the way. I know who you are. I love how the trolls sometimes think they know everything about me because of the way I talk. I think it's hysterical, to be honest with you. It makes me laugh. That's all. It just makes me laugh. All right. Let's go show some crop circles. Look at this one. This one was taken today. Apparently Huntsdown, North Wilton, Wiltshire. I don't know where that is. I didn't look it up, but I think it's pretty cool. Now, what does that mean? Do you know what that symbol is? I had to go look this up, but I think it's quite fascinating. Okay. I think it's quite fascinating. Is the circle with the four circles, or the one circle with the four circles around them, and the other little symbol there is actually Earth. That's supposed to be Earth. Okay, that's our symbol for Earth. And then the middle is the Knights Templar cross. So that was laid down in Wiltshire. Yeah, Wiltshire, North Wilton, Huntsdown, Wiltshire. All right. Now, if you didn't know this, the Knights Templar cross, if you fold it down, it becomes a pyramid, just so you know. Okay, yes, crop circles are still happening. Here it is from a different angle. Okay. There is what it looks like actually on the ground, apparently. Pretty cool. There it is again. And there's another shot from a distance. Pretty fascinating, I found. Wiltshire, is that what it's called? Okay, my apologies for anyone out there in that area. I don't want to mispronounce Wiltshire, possibly, okay? Interesting, right? It kind of does have a Q resemblance to it. There's another one. And for all the people out there who are like, oh, well, they just go out there and make it. No one's making that. They're not doing it overnight, I can tell you that much. I'm sorry, but that is some divine happening, okay? That's how I look at that. I find that completely fascinating. Now, what does it mean that they put a Knights Templar, which is essentially part of the Cabal, in the middle of the Earth symbol? Good question, right? I find that to be a good question. But pretty cool pictures. That is technically a crop circle. Okay? It looks man-made. How does that look man-made? I don't know if ETs are doing it or man-made. I'll tell you right now, though, I'd be curious to see what man created that and did it as well as they did, and as symmetric as they made it. I can't even draw a circle on a freaking piece of paper, so good luck with that. But I find it very fascinating and I find it very interesting. But that was a crop circle that I saw today on Twitter, and I wanted to show you what that was. Now, here's the fun stuff. Let's rock and roll. Everyone ready to see something really cool? Good. I'm ready to show you something really cool, okay? So, here we go. I'm going to bring it up here. I have to move my stuff around. Now, who would like to know more about frequencies and about disease in the body, but let's talk about a specific pathogen that is roaming around the world right now that everyone supposedly is afraid of? Would you like to know the frequencies of the pathogen we're dealing with. So I'm going to show you this, okay? I have it up on a PowerPoint here, and I've been I've been asked by a lot of people about the Rife machine, okay? I am working on getting everyone a good source for the Rife machine because trust me, I don't always love the sources, and I've been trying to find one that I know works really well. So that's what I've been doing. But I'm just going to show you this screen. Now, it's not a super exciting screen. So you're going to, and if you want to copy it down, you can copy it down. I guess I could probably put this in an email and send it out to everybody. But it's not a super exciting screen. I'm going to just talk over it, okay? Because I want to give you a little bit more info about Rife. Here we go. Now, some of you are going to understand what it is right away. I'll do my best to explain it as we go, okay? Here we go. Okay. At first glance, does everyone understand what that is? Oops. There we go. I lost it there for a second. Does everyone understand what that is right there? Those are frequencies of coronavirus. Okay? I will send this out, I promise. All right? So, this is a 2020 update. Okay? Now, what you're looking at here, the first one is the infections, okay? And these numbers are 0.04, 0.24, 9.68, 42.85, the ones they're finding. The next one, okay, the next one here, let me see if I can, there we go. The next one is human, this one right here, that's human number 1. Yes, these are frequencies. Remember, everything is a frequency. Okay? These are the frequencies, by the way, that are programmed into the Rife machine, just so you know. All right? The Rife machine takes care of positive and negative. This is number 2. Okay? And I'm not going to go through all this different stuff. You'd have to go into microbiology and stuff to know this. But Rife discovered that simple electromagnetic wave wasn't enough to destroy a microorganism. Instead, he found a radio frequency wave was readily accepted by the body if it was emitted by a gas within a glass tube, okay? Now, he found this stuff through microscopes, okay? So the feature of the Rife universal microscope that was that viruses could be viewed in their live state like a movie, whereas the electron microscope that we see every day can only view viruses still images or like photos. All right. So he was able to watch things move. This one is the Middle East coronavirus. The popping sound is the comments, guys. I'm telling you. Right? I'm not trying to make it pop. That's what it does. I have not figured out how to shut that feature off yet. Okay. This one is Novell. Here's the SARS. And then look at the very bottom. There is the Wuhan coronavirus. All right. Over 20 years, Rife built 5 of his microscopes. Many of them were requested by very prestigious scientists around the world. He literally created an entire shift in pathology, just so everyone knows. His microbiology research was uncharted territory, basically on the same level as Tesla, just in a different field. All right. He knew that everything vibrated at its own frequency. Okay. That's the thing that's so fascinating. And he found out. So that was that. I don't want to stay on that too long because just a bunch of numbers. All right. So it's genius. Now, this is how the world where I've been asked this, okay? So people ask me, I wanted to bring this up for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to show you that it's very well known in our world that there's frequencies. And it shows you that you can actually kill the frequency with machines, with frequency machines, okay? Now, I am not saying, I'm not being a diagnosis person. I'm a doctor, but I'm not being in the medical world on this, okay? Just fair disclaimer. I'm just showing you what frequencies are. You can do whatever you choose to do with whatever frequencies you want to do. But people ask me all the time about muscle testing and about quantum, okay? This is how quantum physics and muscle testing work. Muscle testing is based on energy. It's energy medicine, but it's also physical too, because you can actually check body parts, body organs with this. But everything is a frequency. Your organs are a frequency. Your blood's a frequency. Your eyelash is a frequency. You name it, it is a frequency. All right? So, I know people, I do not personally use this, not because I don't like it. I just never really use it. I know many people that own them. They are fantastic. They play with them. I have told people I cannot play with them necessarily in an office setting because government for some reason doesn't love them. So I can use muscle testing the same exact way with this stuff, because guess what? At the end of the day, it's just a frequency, and muscle testing works with frequencies. All right. If you didn't know what energy medicine was, so some people are freaked out by energy, and this is how I explain how this stuff works is, how far away is the sun from planet Earth? I'll give you a moment to answer that. How far away is the sun from planet Earth? Give me a number. I know you're a couple seconds behind me. So, it's very, very far. It is actually 93 million miles away. Very good. Anita was the first one. Good job. So, a lot of people don't necessarily believe in energy because they're all panicked about it. And they think, trust me, I've been called a voodoo doctor or witch doctor. You name it. I don't really care anymore. Okay, so does anybody have animals that lay in front of like a windowsill, or they lay outside where it's nice and sunny, etc.? Well, why do they do that? Why does an alligator lay on the embankment of a pond or a lake? Well, because they are taking in sun, they're taking in rays, they're taking in ultraviolet, like they're taking in stuff you don't. So we can't even see the sun. We can't see a sun rays. I mean, unless you like catch it off a lake or something like that. But when you look up, all you see is this bright object in the sky. You don't see rays coming down and like glowing around an animal or whatever it is. Those are frequencies. So how do you get warm? From frequencies. So when we test somebody, we're just testing frequencies, and your physical body will test for things or not test for things. It's very, very simple. It's amazing stuff. It's genius, and essentially it's basically a physical extension of Rife. And Hulda Clark talked about it as well, and she was involved with the frequencies as well and understanding what they did and everything else. Like I talk about parasites a lot. Parasites all have different frequencies. Every single solitary object and non-object on planet Earth and the universe have frequencies, right? That's simple. And if you can get that frequency matched, if it's a pathogen or it's a problem in the body, guess what? If it's in the body and it's a problem and it's a dis-ease, if you handle that frequency, it can kill it off. That simple. It's pretty cool stuff, right? Love has a frequency. Energy has a frequency. Happiness is a frequency. Sadness is a frequency. God is a frequency. Christ is a frequency. Teachers, guru, it's all frequencies, right? Love may be one of the greatest frequencies. So just want you to understand that's how it works. And I thought you might be interested in seeing the COVID or coronavirus frequencies in front of you. Okay, Who has questions? I'll answer a couple questions and then we'll wind up and tie it up in a nice little bow for the end of the night. Yes, music is frequencies. All right. How do you remove something? You find the opposite frequency. So if there's a frequency like this, you find the opposite frequency going like that, and you can actually null out a wave. You don't actually technically null it out, but that's a whole other thing. You can. That's how you would finish a pathogen. Okay. Good. All right. Question. Should we be worried about contact tracing? You can't. So by the way, on the contact tracing, from what I understand, is when you download a new update on your phone, that is not installing contact tracing. You actually have to put an app on it. You have to like download an app and have it on it to connect to that, okay? So yes. Can chiropractors help with hernias? Of course they can. Absolutely. I do not know what the Bush funeral letters said. I would love to know, but I am just as in the mystery on that as you are, okay? How do I muscle test a person from a distance? Quantum physics. We are all connected. My best example on quantum physics, okay? And this is not like a really good example. It's just my very layman's term. Yes, bone cyst, yes. Pretty much anything you guys throw at me, I help with. So just know that. So my example on quantum physics there's actually two. The first one is, have you ever been in a room where there's a baby, right? And a baby's saying mom's arms, and then all of a sudden somebody walks in the room and like the energy shifts and it's not really great positive energy. And then all of a sudden you see the baby go from like really happy to not so happy, maybe sad or very disgruntled or crying. That's quantum physics, folks. That's energy. Okay. Babies pick up on stuff. They pick, like my daughter will not be around certain people, will not be around certain kids who are more negative or not as positive, I guess you could say. That's picking up on that's quantum physics. That's energy. All right. It goes very, very deep into that. Now, this is my second example. And I tell people this one all the time. Okay. Here is quantum physics at not at its best, because there's some crazy deep things you can go into quantum physics. I'm just trying to really put this in layman's terms for everybody. Is, say for example, you're hanging out, chilling, and you get a random thought in your mind about a person maybe you haven't seen in a while, or whatever, or you haven't talked to in a long time, maybe a friend, family member. Could be years, could be months, doesn't matter, right? First of all, why did you get the thought? Where did the thought come from? That's quantum. Now, second of all, the next quantum part is, what happens when the next day you either get a phone call from them, or later that day you get a phone call from them, or you run into them? All right? That is quantum physics. That is energy. That is quantum energy. First of all, why do you get the thought, right? And yes, you can call it, by the way, everyone, you can call it the Holy Spirit, you can call it divine, it's fine. But guess what? Even the Holy Spirit, even the divine, even God is based in what are called natural laws. Meaning, this is the problem with science and religion. Science and religion should not be separate entities. Science and religion are one thing. Like, there is actual science to the energy we all feel. So like prayer, okay? If you are getting into prayer, yes, it's a very spiritual, it can be a very emotional thing. I totally understand that. I get it. But guess what? When you're in prayer, you're actually sending a frequency and a signal out to the universe. God and source are connected. That will then bounce back with what your this is all frequencies, folks. I talked about this when I did the pineal gland. Okay? Your brain is an antenna. Your antenna connects to the ether. It connects to God. It connects to the divine. Right? When you send it out, you bring it back. A good example of that is how many people out there, how many of you write your goals down on paper? Not think about it, not talk about it, but actually write it down. When you do that, when you write down your goals, it is literally a frequency that you're sending out into the universe. Then it bounces back. Remember, now again, I am not great with scripture, but was it not said something along the lines of like, ask and you shall receive? What do you think that is? Right? That's the science of spirituality. That's how it works, folks. All right? So, guys, I don't care about the haters. Leave them there if you want to. It doesn't really matter to me. It does not bother me, because guess what? When I'm talking about this stuff, it does not matter what your faith or background is. This is how natural laws work, okay? So, if you want things to happen in your life, you need to. So I actually learned a long time ago that you have to continue writing your goals down. Write this, like I write some of the same goals down over and over and over again, because I'm not going to necessarily get it the next day. But I will tell you, if I go back and look, say, a year or two ago, and I look at what I was writing down then compared to now, a good portion of them all come true. Now I put work to it as well. Okay, I ask God all the time. Now, when I ask, I'll tell you something, okay? Ready? Here you go. When I ask, excuse me, when I ask God something, when I put out there in prayer what I want, I don't just ask for it. What I actually do is I say, what can I do to help or serve someone or serve your purpose or the purpose? What can I do in exchange for wanting what I'm asking for? So if I want to be speaking on stage in front of international groups on health and whatever it may be, I don't just say, hey, put me on stage. No, like, I'm sure you have a lot of better things to do than just put me on stage. I say, what can I do for people? What can I do to serve? This is what I'll do to serve if you help put me on stage to speak internationally about health and help countries and help governments real healthcare. I don't just ask for it. I say, I will do this. I will help with this. I will make this happen. I will serve people this way to get that in return. Right? You gotta give something back, man. You gotta serve humanity to get it back. That's how I look at it, okay? And it helps me, okay? So good, guys. I hope that helped. I'm over an hour tonight, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I hope I'm bringing value to you. I hope this is helpful to all of you. If you have any questions, if you have any more desires or needs, let me know, and I will be sure to bring that to you as well. And by the way, again, from the very beginning of the talk tonight of the show, is get prepared. Be prepared. Help people. I need you to go and start serving other people. Help them. Get them ready. Get them not scared. Get them out of fear. Get them happy. Get them hopeful. Okay? This is the stuff we need to do. All right? Someone said, no, don't go. Was that for me or somebody else? I do have to go. It's getting late, and I have to get up, and I've had a very busy week. I have more people to help heal. I am not the healer. Well, I'm a healer from a descriptive standpoint, but I simply understand how the body works. I let divine work in the body. I apply my knowledge in my things, whole food, whole herbs, homeopathics, and I let the body and the divine take over and do its job, okay? All right, guys. Hope you're all well. Love you. You're amazing. By the way, we have another person working on emails, so all your emails are getting answered. Don't worry, they're coming. They're all coming through. I'm a very busy man, and I love it, so thank you for keeping me busy. But also, thank all of you out there for allowing me to be purpose-driven in your life to help you get healthy. I really appreciate that, because that is part of my purpose, is to help people heal, to give them answers, and to get their bodies ready for this next phase of life that we have to go through, because it's not going to be easy. And I need all of you patriots healthy and ready to rock and roll. So I thank you. I appreciate you for allowing me to be part of your life to help you heal. It helps me serve my purpose. So go help somebody, go take care of somebody, go be a patriot for somebody else as well. Guys, have a wonderful night. Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, signing off. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.